some of my favorite book, The Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the Atlantean. Original translation by Dr. M. Durrell. For the Brotherhood of the White Temple. That's pretty cool. Reading goes, the history of the tablets translated in the following pages is strange and beyond the belief of modern scientists. Their antiquity is stupendous, dating back some 36,000 years. BC, the writer is Thoth, an Atlantean priest king, who founded a colony in ancient Egypt after the sinking of the mother country. He was the builder of the Great Pyramid of Giza, erroneously attributed to Cheops. In it, he incorporated his knowledge of the ancient wisdom and also securely secreted records and instruments of ancient Atlantis. For some 16,000 years, he ruled the ancient race of Egypt from approximately 50,000 BC to 36,000 BC. At that time, the ancient barbarous race, among which he and his followers had settled, had been raised to a high degree of civilization. Thoth was an immortal, that is, he had conquered death, passing only when he willed, and even then, not through death. His vast wisdom made him ruler over the various Atlantean colonies, including the ones in South and Central America. Wow. When the time came for him to leave Egypt, he erected the Great Pyramids over the entrance to the Great Halls of Amenti, placed in its records, and appointed guards for his secrets from among the highest of his people. In later times, the descendants of these guards became the pyramid priests, while Thoth was deified as the god of wisdom, the recorder by those in the age of darkness which followed his passing. In legend, the halls of Amenti became the underworld, the halls of the gods, where the souls passed after death for judgment. During later ages, the ego of Thoth passed into the bodies of men in the manner described in these tablets. As such, he has incarnated 3 times. The last known body as Hermes the Thrice-Born. In this incarnation, he left the writings known to modern occultists as the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. A later and far lesser exposition of the ancient mysteries. The tablets translated in this work are 10, which were left in the Great Pyramid of the custody of the pyramid priests. The 10 are divided into 13 parts for the sake of convenience. The last 2 are so great and far-reaching in their importance that at present it is forbidden which will prove inestimable to the serious student. They should be read not once, but 100 times, for only thus can the true meaning be revealed. A casual reading will give glimpses of beauty, but more intensive study will open avenues of wisdom to the speaker. But now a word as to how these mighty secrets came to be revealed to modern man after being hidden for so long. Some 1300 years BC, Egypt, the ancient Kim, was in turmoil, and many delegations of priests were sent to other parts of the world. Among these were some of the pyramid priests who carried with them the emerald tablets written by Thoth. They were a talisman by which they could exercise authority over the land. Descended from other Atlantean colonies, these tablets were understood from legend to give the bearers authority from Thoth himself. The particular group of priests bearing the tablets emigrated to South America, where they found a flourishing race, the Mayas, who remembered much to ancient wisdom. Among these, the priests settled and remained. In the 10th century, the Mayas had thoroughly settled in the Yucatan, and the tablets were placed beneath the altar of one of the great temples of the sun god. After the conquest of the Mayas by the Spaniards, the cities were abandoned and the treasures of the temple forgotten. It should be understood that the Great Pyramid of Egypt has been and still is the temple of initiation into these mysteries. Jesus, Solomon, Apollonius, and others were initiated there. The writer was instructed to recover and return to the Great Pyramid. The ancient tablets therein, this, after adventures which need not be detailed here, was accomplished. Before returning them, he was given permission to translate and to retain a copy of the wisdom engraved on the tablets. It is expected that many will scoff, yet the true student will read between the lines and gain wisdom. If the light is in you, the light which is engraved in these tablets will respond. Now, a word as to the material aspects of these tablets. They consist of 12 tablets of emerald green, formed from a substance created through alchemical transmutation. They are imperishable, resistant to all elements and substance. In effect, the atomic and cellular structure is fixed, no change ever taking place. In this respect, they violate the material laws of ionization. Upon them are engraved characters in the ancient Atlantean language, characters which respond to attuned thought waves, releasing the associated mental vibration in the mind of the reader. The tablets are fastened together with hoops of golden-colored alloy suspended from a rod of the same material. So much for the material appearance. The wisdom contained therein is the foundation of all ancient mysteries, and for one who reads with open eyes and mind, his wisdom shall be increased 100-fold. Read, believe or not, but read, and the vibration found herein will awaken in response to your soul. reveal some of the mysteries which as yet have only been seen and touched upon lightly either by myself or other students of the truth. Man's search for understanding of the laws which regulate his life have been unending, yet always just beyond the veil which shields the higher planes from material man's vision. The truth has always existed, ready to be assimilated by those who enlarge their vision by turning inward, not outward, for their search. In the silence of the material sense lies the key to the unveiling of wisdom. He who talks does not know. He who knows does not talk. The highest knowledge is unutterable, for it exists as an entity in planes which transcend all material words and symbols. All symbols are but keys to doors leading to the truth, and many times the door is not opened because the key seems so great that the things which are beyond it are not visible. If we can understand that all keys, all material symbols are manifestations, and they are but extensions of the great laws and truths, we will begin to develop the division. We will begin to develop the vision which will enable us to penetrate beyond the veil. All things in the universe move according to law, and the law which regulates the movement of the planets is no more immutable than the law which regulates the material expressions of man. One of the greatest cosmic laws is that which is responsible for the formation of man as the material being. The great aim of the mystery schools of all ages has been to reveal the workings of the law which connect man to the material and man to the spiritual. The connecting link between the material man and the spiritual man is the intellectual man, for the mind partakes of both the material and immaterial qualities. The aspirant for higher knowledge must develop the intellectual side of his nature, and so strengthen his will that he is able to concentrate all of the powers of his being on and in the plane that he desires. The great search for light, for life, and for love only begins in the material plane, carried to its ultimate, its final goal, its completeness. It is oneness with the universal consciousness. The foundation of the material is the first step. Then comes the higher goal of spiritual attainment. In the following pages, I will give an interpretation of the Emerald Tablets and their secret knowledge and esoteric hidden meanings within. Concealed in the words of Thoth are many meanings that do not appear on the surface. Light of knowledge brought to bear upon the tablets will open many new fields for thought. Read and be wise, but only if the light of your own consciousness awakes the deep-seated understanding which is an inherent quality of all souls. Emerald Tablet number 1. The history of Thoth the Atlantean. I, Thoth the Atlantean, master of mysteries, keeper of records, mighty king, magician, living from generation to generation, being about to pass into the halls of Amenti, set down for the guidance of those that are to come after. The began this incarnation. Not as the little men of the present age did the mighty ones of Atlantis live and die, but rather from aeon to aeon did they renew their life in the halls of Amenti, where the river of life flows eternally onward. 100 times 10 have I descended the dark way that led into the light, and as many times have I ascended from the darkness into the light. My strength and power were renewed. Now, for a time I descend, and the men of Kim shall know me no more. But in a time yet unborn will I rise again, mighty and potent, requiring an accounting of those left behind me. Then beware, O men of Kim, if ye have falsely betrayed my teachings, for I shall cast ye down from your high estate into the darkness of the caves, from whence that ye came. Betray not my secrets to the men of the north, or the men of the south, lest my curse fall upon ye. Remember and heed my words, for surely I will return again, and require of thee that which ye guard. I, even from beyond time and from beyond death, will I return, rewarding or punishing as ye have requited your trust. Great were my people in the ancient days, great beyond conception of the little people now around me. Knowing the wisdom of old, seeking far within the heart of infinity, knowledge that belonged to earth's youth, wise were we with the wisdom of the children of light who dwelt among us. Strong were we with the power drawn from the eternal fire. And of all these, greatest among the children of men was my father, Thotme, keeper of the great temple, link between the children of light, who dwelt within the temple, and the races of men who inhabited the 10 islands. Mouthpiece after the 3 of the dweller of Uno, speaking to the kings with the voice that must be obeyed. Grew I there from a child into manhood, being taught by my father the elder mysteries, until in time there grew within the fire of wisdom, until it burst into a consuming flame. Naught desired I but the attainment of wisdom, until on a great day the command came from the dweller of the temple that I be brought before him. From there were among the children of men who had looked upon that mighty face and lived, for not as the sons of men are the children of light, when they are not incarnate in a physical body. Chosen was I from the sons of men, taught by the dweller, so that his purpose might be fulfilled. Purposes yet unborn, in the womb of time. Long ages I dwelt in the temple, learning ever yet and ever more wisdom, until I too approached the light emitted from the great fire. Taught me he the path of Amenti, to the underworld where the great king sits upon the throne of might. Deep I bowed in homage before the lords of life and the lords of death, receiving as my gift the key of life. Free was I of the halls of Amenti, bound not by death to the circle of life. Far to the stars I journeyed, until space and time became as naught. Then, having drunk deep in the cup of wisdom, I looked into the hearts of men. And there I found greater mysteries, and was glad, for only in the search for truth could my soul be stilled, and the flame within be quenched. Down through the ages I lived, seeing those around me taste of the cup of death, and return again to the light of life, gradually from the kingdoms of Atlantis, passing waves of consciousness that had been one with me, only to be replaced by the spawn of a lower star. In obedience his wrath arose from Agwanti the Dweller, speaking the word, calling the power. Deep in earth's heart, the sons of Amenti heard, and hearing this directed and changing of the flower of fire that burns eternally, changing and shifting, using the logos until the great fire changed its direction over the world, then broke the great waters, drowning and sinking, changing earth's balance until only the temple of light was left standing on the green mountain on Undal, still rising out of the water. Some who were living, saved from the rush of the fountains, called to me then the master, saying, "Gather ye together, my people, take them by the arts ye have learned afar across the waters, until ye reach the land of the hairy barbarians, dwelling in caves and deserts. Follow there the plan that ye know of." Gathered I then my people, and entered the great ship of the master. Upward we rose into the morning. Dark beneath us lay the temple. Suddenly over it rose the waters. Vanished from earth until the time appointed was the great temple. Past we fled towards the sun of the morning, until beneath us lay the land of the children of Kim. Raging they came with cudgels and spears lifted in anger, seeking to slay us, the sons of Atlantis. Then raised I my staff, and directed a ray of vibration, striking them still in their tracks, as fragments of the stone of the mountain. Then I spoke to them in words calm and peaceful, telling them the might of Atlantis, saying we were children of the sun and its messengers. Cowed I them by my display of magic science, until at my feet they groveled, when I released them. Long dwelt we in the land of Kim, long and yet long again, until obeying the commands of the master, who were sleeping yet lives eternally, I sent from me the sons of Atlantis. Send them in many directions, that from the womb of time wisdom might arise again in their children. Long time I dwelt in that land of Kim, doing great works by the wisdom within me. Upward grew into the light of knowledge the children of Kim, watered by the rains of my wisdom. Blasted I then a path to Amenti, so that I may retain my powers, living from age to age as the son of Atlantis, keeping the wisdom, preserving the records. Great grew the sons of Kim, conquering the people around them, growing suddenly upwards in soul force. Now for a time I go from among men into the dark halls of Amenti, deep in the halls of the earth, before the lands of the powers and the lords of the powers, face to face once again with the dweller. Raised I high over the entrance a doorway, a gateway leading down to Amenti. Few there would be with courage to dare it. Few passed the portal to the dark Amenti. Raised I over the passage a mighty pyramid, using the power that overcomes Earth's gravity. Deep and yet deeper, I placed a force or chamber. From within it I carved a circular passage, reaching almost to the great summit. There, in the apex, I set the crystal, sending the ray into time-space, drawing the force from out of the ether, concentrating upon the gateways to Amenti. Other chambers I then built, and left vacant to all seeming, yet hidden within them are the keys to Amenti. He who in courage would dare the dark realms, let him be purified first by long fasting. Lie in the sarcophagus of stone in my chamber, then reveal I to him the great mysteries. Soon shall he follow to where I shall meet him. Even in the darkness of earth shall I meet him. I am Thoth, Lord of Wisdom. Meet him and hold him and dwell with him always. Builded I the great pyramids, patterned after the pyramid of earth force, burning eternally, so that it too might remain through the ages. In it I built my knowledge of magic science, so that it might be here when again I return from Amenti. While I sleep in the halls of Amenti, my soul roams free, dwelling among men in this form or another. Emissary on earth am I of the dweller, fulfilling his commands so man might be lifted. Now return I to the halls of Amenti, leaving behind me some of my wisdom. Preserve ye and keep ye the command of the dweller. Lift ever upwards your eye towards the light. Surely in time you are one with the Master. Surely by right ye are one with the Master. Surely by right ye are one with the All. Now I depart from ye, know my commandments, keep them and be them, and I will be with you. And I will be with you, helping guiding you into the light. Now before me opens the portal. Go I down in the darkness of night. Thank you for watching this video. For more emerald tablets, please see part 2.